I'm John Ratzenberger. On this Made in America, it's off to Newell, West Virginia, where Homer Laughlin makes Fiesta dinnerware that would be right at home in any Fiesta. Then we travel to Hanover, Pennsylvania, to sit comfortably in the Nemico aluminum chair. And finally, we get the inside story of canning at Ball Brothers. I've been all over this great country, small towns and big cities, visiting factories and workshops, searching for the soul of America. And you know what? I found it everywhere. So sit back and relax, because we've got it made in America. As you know well, too much of what we used to make proudly here in America is now made overseas. Well, I happen to be in a showroom of a factory that's been making things here for more than 130 years. And I'm particularly pleased to tell you that instead of packing up to make its goods in China, it stays here to make its China in America. Homer Laughlin sounds more like the name of a country western singer than a brand of fine china, but names can be deceiving. Homer Laughlin is the brand on billions of pieces of china, including Fiesta dinnerware, the colorful line that's been popular on American tables for generations. The Homer Laughlin factory is located in Newell, at the top of West Virginia's northern panhandle, where it's squeezed between Pennsylvania and Ohio, just below the Ohio River. Some people around here call Newell the capital of China, because that's what's been made here for more than a century. But the Homer Laughlin story started on the other side of the river in 1871, with the founding of his factory in East Liverpool, Ohio. 6 years later, Homer decided to get out of the business and sold to the Wells and Aaron families, who decided to keep his name on the company. The current president and a fourth-generation owner is Joe Wells III.
Well, many years ago, the English thought they were superior potters, and that they thought American pottery was no good. And Homer Laughlin said, we can make pottery as well as any English.
At the time he sold his company, Homer Laughlin's China Works was as busy and successful as any ceramics maker in America. The men and women who've run the company ever since know that they've been entrusted with a meaningful legacy.
Do you start them off sweeping floors?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Only way to learn.
That's where you started, right?
Yes, sir.
So you showed me your technique before. You
yeah.
showed me again?
Yeah.
Like this?
Oh man.
That's it.
Many of America's other China manufacturers were unable to compete when cheap imports began flooding the market. But the owners of Homer Laughlin saw an opportunity. They concentrated on making only the good stuff, and their China ended up as a favorite far and wide. Sometimes very far and very wide.
This was done for the USS West Virginia, which is a nuclear submarine, and they called us up and wanted special dishes done.
It was 1936 when the company introduced Fiesta dinnerware, brightly colored dishes that were supposed to inject an upbeat note during the downbeat depression. They were a hit in bad times and have been a hit in every time since.
The irony that struck me is, with the competition from Mexico and China, you actually make China in America and call it Fiesta.
Yes, we do.
It's like, yeah, we'll show you guys.
Fiesta, of course, is the Spanish word for party. And you could have a heck of a party in a Laughlin plant, which goes on for an amazing 35 acres. Ken McElhenney is the plant superintendent.
How many different kind of products do you do here, Ken?
We make about 1,400 different shapes, and then there's an infinite number of patterns and designs that we can put on the product.
The manufacturing process for most products begins with leaves of clay being run through a mixer, followed by a vigorous vacuum pumping to remove air bubbles. Then the leaves are squeezed into cylinders called pugs.
What happens after the pug of clay is put on the conveyor, it's sliced off the length, transferred automatically onto a plaster mold. That plaster
This
mold,
plaster here.
this is a plaster mold. And that plaster mold
look at
forms
that.
the face of
Yeah.
the plate and excess
that
clay recycled.
There's a little cutter here throwing this stuff.
This is called a tailing. It's recycled up until the point of firing. Everything here is 100% recyclable.
Edges of the clay plates are rounded by machines before a dryer removes most of the moisture.
One of the things with an automated process, John, there's not a lot of people involved that can inspect the product. So we have a camera installed at the end of this conveyor system that takes a look at every plate to make sure it's suitable for the next operation.
Go on. The plates that pass are glazed by color. And then, as any weekend potter knows, they're fired.
Big furnace we're walking by.
Big furnace. And we fire the product at about 2,180 degrees Fahrenheit. It takes about 5 hours to get through the firing process.
So this plate here, 5 hours ago, it was just being put inside.
was just being loaded at the other end.
So I noticed by the track, this is not moving very fast.
No, it moves very slow.
Very slow.
Very slow.
Inspecting the finished plates is obviously not a job for rookies.
That looks good.
Here. The brake.
Oh yeah.
That's not good.
NG.
As in most ceramic shops, Homer Laughlin makes more than plates. Jason, for example, works on spoon rests, which is another of those jobs that's more difficult than it sounds.
Tell me when.
Go ahead.
Now?
Yep. Ah, you missed it.
Well, you do have to be fast.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready. I got it.
I'll get in there and get up under it. There you go.
Thank you very much.
People often wonder how they get ships and bottles. Maybe there's a clue in how they get handles onto mugs.
Oh yeah, huh? That's a mug.
Homer Laughlin makes more than 50 kinds of mugs. But maybe the best factoid to convey both how big the plant is and how successful the company is to note that there's an entire assembly line devoted to gravy boats. Some pieces are individualized with hand-lined art, courtesy of hand-lining artists like Marilyn. She starts by finding the center point.
But this centered here. Okay, so
So you can see where it's off, right?
how's that?
Nah, not good.
No.
This is not a job you learn in one day.
How long have you been working here, Marilyn?
27 years.
Oh, so you sort of got this down then. Oh, hit and miss there, huh, Marilyn?
Long before anyone else, the Chinese were making the tableware that Europeans began calling China. By that standard, there should be about a jillion products known around the world as America.
Toast to Homer Laughlin. And you, Joe. And everybody who works there.